Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today, doing the recap of the DAZN Card that took place on Saturday, December 4th, as it was main evented by the Haney versus Diaz showdown. For the WBC Lightweight Championship of the world. Actually, the card itself wasn't bad at all in terms of the undercard. Excuse me, guys. I'm trying to get my shit together before I I probably should have done it before I did the video. But I'm gonna include the Montana Love versus I believe the guy's name was Castro on the undercard. Yeah. And Montana Love, you know, he came in overweight for this fight. He was coming off that upset knockout victory over Ivan Baranchyk. And he, you know, was signed by Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. And he came in overweight for the fight against Castro, but needless, you know, it didn't matter. I don't like guys missing fights, but it didn't matter in terms of what, you know, like moving up in the rankings. It was just a stay busy fight for Montana Love, and he looked good, scored a second round knockout win, stays undefeated, and now, in my opinion, he's going to be in the top 10 because of his win over Baranchyk and his undefeated record. So this guy is definitely a threat and somebody to watch for at 140, so make sure you're checking him out. He fought in a co-feature. But the main event saw Haney versus Diaz for the WBC Lightweight Championship of the World. Actually, before that, I'm going to discuss another fight. I'm going to discuss Arthur Yarde and Lyndon Arthur, the rematch that took place. It wasn't on DAZN, but it took place also that day. So before I get into Haney and Diaz, let's talk about Yarde and Lyndon Arthur, the rematch. Their first fight back in December of last year, 2020, ended in Arthur scoring one of the biggest upsets of the year, a 12-round split decision over Yarde. And these guys since have both scored TKO wins in the interim. But Yarde really wanted to rematch, and you know, the caveat was that the winner would get the winner of Joe Smith Jr. and Callum Johnson, which takes place January 15th now. And so it was a big-time fight. It wasn't just to become, you know, just for revenge for Arthur Yarde. It was for a title shot for both guys, you know. And Arthur Yarde left no doubt in the rematch. He went right after Lyndon Arthur and really just dominated him, you know, and stopped him in only 4 rounds in the rematch. He just was a pit bull right from the get-go, fought his fight, did not let the fight get into the deep waters, and, you know, where, you know, let's be honest, he's had stamina issues, you know. He had to go the distance against Arthur, but he also had, once the fight went into the late rounds against Sergey Kovalev, the fight slipped away from him. He was actually doing well in that fight, had Kovalev hurt, really made Kovalev work his ass off, and then in the late rounds, Yarde tired out and Kovalev stopped him. So, you know, he didn't want that to happen again, and he went right after Lyndon Arthur, dominated him, and stopped him in the 4th round impressively. And he's, you know, with an arrow, shot himself back into the top 10. And without question now, he was kind of flirting on the bubble of the top 10. Now he's back in the top 10 for sure. And he's earned his title shot, another title shot. So we'll discuss his what's next next week, but a big-time win right here. Tough loss for Lyndon Arthur. I doubt he returns to the top 10, you know, because of how one-sided this fight was. But tough break for him. He's going to have to start over from scratch, you know, and likely just going to take tune-ups and stuff as he goes forward. But now, let's get into the Haney versus Diaz main event for the WBC lightweight title that took place on December 4th. Now, you know, there was a lot of people that if Teofimo Lopez the week before had beaten George Kambosos as expected, a lot of people were saying we're not likely going to see Lopez and Haney. And then out of nowhere, George Kambosos scores the upset and beats Teofimo Lopez. Lopez doesn't seem to want a rematch. There was no rematch clause anyways. So now, heading into the fight for Haney and Diaz, undisputed was on the line. An opportunity to become an undisputed champion could potentially be there. So a lot more at stake than originally thought. And Devin Haney, to his credit, the guy used his height and his reach. He had a 2-inch height advantage and like an 8-inch reach advantage. And he started quick. He was catching Diaz coming in right from the get-go. Diaz had his moments, though. Diaz would sneak in and land those good short shots that he can hit you with. But if Diaz would have been stronger, he probably knocks Devin Haney out. But Diaz just doesn't pack that lightweight punch, big-time punch. And, he had his moments. He did well, but Devin Haney never let Diaz take the fight over. He outworked him, outboxed him. Devin Haney showed his talent. He got caught with some good shots. Again, I said this in my podcast. I do question how good Devin Haney's chin is. But it was a clean 12-round unanimous decision. I thought it was about 8-4 to 9-3 kind of score. I thought that was fair, but it was clean. He did outwork and outbox Jojo Diaz and just out-talent him, outclass him. But again, Joseph Diaz had some good moments. He fought his ass off. He fought hard, and nothing to hang his head about. Jojo Diaz did great. He's going to remain in the top 10, so we'll do his what's next week. Again, hats off to Devin Haney. He could be taking on George Kambosos. I love what he said after the fight. When they asked him, would you go to Australia to fight George Kambosos? And he said he'll go all the way to Jupiter to fight him. So that means this fight is very possible and definitely could happen next. Again, we'll discuss Devin Haney's what's next week. But, again, a big-time performance right here by Devin Haney. That's 2 in a row. And you know what? Again, like I said at the beginning of the year, he's got to show me something this year, and he did just that. With wins over Linares and now Diaz, Devin Haney's a top 5, could be a top 3 area type lightweight going forward. And, definitely top 5, though. He's earned that much. And I'm looking forward to seeing him again. And again, it could very well be against George Kambosos for the undisputed lightweight championship of the world. We'll see what happens. But that's it. That's the DAZN recap and the Yarde versus Lyndon Arthur 2 rematch recap. I hope you guys enjoyed it. True Boxing, you've been here with the truth.